It's strange how certain stories in wrestling slip through every crack, almost like the universe is trying to keep them hidden. And this one is so wild that the moment it surfaced, it felt completely unreal. Because if you've watched Liv Morgan over the years, if you've seen the way she carries herself, how she treats fans, how she approaches the business, she's the last person you'd ever expect to get locked in a real fight backstage. Not a playful shove, not a heated argument, an actual fist-swinging, hair-yanking explosion that had people running for their lives. And somehow, for years, not a single hint of it came out. Liv built her entire reputation on being the lovable underdog, the girl next door who somehow ended up in the chaos of pro wrestling and fought her way to the top with heart instead of ego. That's why fans connected with her from day one. She never gave off that "I'm ready to throw hands" vibe. She gave off "I hope she wins" energy, and the idea of her in an all-out brawl sounded about as believable as a unicorn showing up at WrestleMania. But that's exactly what makes this story so fascinating, because it's the kind of tale that doesn't fit her image at all. And the only reason anyone knows it happened is because Sonya Deville casually dropped it like it was just another Tuesday. Before Sonya even got to the jaw-dropping part, she made it clear, this wasn't some little scuffle. This wasn't miscommunication during training. This was chaos. Real chaos. The kind of moment where you look around and realize no one's acting anymore. And to understand just how insane it got, you have to picture where it all went down in NXT promo class. A place where things are supposed to look intense, but never actually become intense. The whole point of the drill is to teach controlled aggression, not real aggression. The exercise they were doing was the classic pull-apart promo. It's simple on paper. Two people pretend to brawl while everyone else plays the role of security, pulling them apart, creating the illusion of chaos. After that, the wrestlers cut a heated promo while catching their breath. It's usually loud, dramatic, and messy, but safe. No one expects to get hit. No one expects emotions to cross the line. The entire room trusts each other to keep it professional. And that's why this moment took everyone off guard. Because, when the line between acting and reality vanished, it did so without warning. In that room were several familiar faces: Liv Morgan, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, Aaliyah Vanessa Bourne, Summer Rae, and a handful of trainees whose only responsibility was preventing the drill from getting too wild. On any normal day, this would have been just another exercise they'd all done 100 times. But on this particular day, something shifted. Maybe it was tension. Maybe it was frustration. Maybe it was one stray insult that landed wrong. No one really knows, because Sonya never gave the exact trigger. She only gave the aftermath. At first, everything looked normal. Liv and Mandy squared off the way they always did, pushing each other, yelling, giving the kind of energy you'd expect from two people cutting a dramatic promo. Sonya stepped between them, playing her role as the separator, maintaining that thin line between realism and performance. And then suddenly, she felt something that froze her in place. A rush of air by her ear, the unmistakable whoosh of a fist being thrown with real force. Not acted, not pulled, not worked real. She said the first moment it hit her, she thought maybe she imagined it. Then another swing blurred past her face, and that's when she realized what was happening. These weren't practice shots. They weren't soft taps. Liv and Mandy were genuinely striking at each other. No hesitation, no stunt-style movements. Someone had snapped, and the other person snapped right back. Within seconds, the entire room changed. Aaliyah, who was supposed to be helping separate them, took one look at how real it got and immediately backed away. Vanessa Bourne followed. Summer Rae tried to help for a moment, but once she saw fists connecting and both women grabbing each other's hair and screaming, she bailed too. Nobody wanted to be collateral damage in a real fight. And honestly, who could blame them? Nobody shows up to promo class expecting to dodge punches. Sonya, meanwhile, was stuck dead in the middle. One step forward, and she'd get rocked. One step back, and she'd lose control of the drill entirely. So she stood there caught in the storm, watching Liv and Mandy completely lose it on each other. She described it like the moment the air changes before a thunderstorm. You realize something big is happening, and you can't stop it. The yelling got louder. The insults got sharper. Liv grabbed Mandy's hair. Mandy grabbed right back. They weren't working anymore. They were shooting on each other, which in wrestling means the acting stops and the real emotion takes over. And the instant that shift happened, any sense of practice drill evaporated. The room stopped feeling like a class and started feeling like a fight. Club Sonya could see the panic on the faces of the coaches watching. Matt Bloom, who had seen almost everything wrestling had to offer, looked like he couldn't believe what he was witnessing. No one expected Liv Morgan to be in the middle of a meltdown. No one expected Mandy Rose to snap either. And the strangest part of all, Sonya said she still doesn't know what set it off. One moment, everything was normal. The next moment, fists were flying. It took several male trainees to rush in and physically pull them apart. Not one or two, several. That's how locked in they were. That's how intense the moment became. Even after being separated, both women kept yelling, breathing heavy, firing off the kind of insults that don't sound like acting, the kind that come from pure anger. And once they were finally dragged to opposite sides of the room, something happened that instantly became part of the legend. Live, still heated, snapped at Mandy for pulling her hair, and Mandy didn't hesitate for even a second before firing back with a line that made everyone's jaw drop. She looked her dead in the eyes and said, "At least my hair is real." Just like that. No hesitation, no softness, no pretending. That one line might be the most iconic moment of the entire story. Not because it was the meanest thing ever said, but because of how proudly Mandy delivered it. According to Sonya, Mandy prided herself on not wearing extensions back then. She knew exactly what she was saying. She knew it would hit, and she said it anyway. Once the dust settled, the fight didn't turn physical again, but the tension lingered. Even separated, they kept trading sharp words, clearly not ready to let it go. And the coaches, they were stunned. They had no idea what just happened. No clue whether this was something boiling under the surface for weeks, or if both women simply woke up on the wrong side of the bed that day. Sonya didn't know either. She said she wished she had the missing pieces, because the entire thing felt like there was more to it than anyone revealed. And the craziest part is that even today, after all these years, neither Liv nor Mandy has ever told their side. Not on social media, not in interviews, not even accidentally. It's like the moment vanished into the past and everyone involved decided to leave it there. Maybe they were embarrassed. Maybe they made up immediately afterward. Maybe WWE told them to keep it quiet. Or maybe it was one of those moments everyone agrees to pretend never happened. Whatever the reason, it created a cloud of mystery that makes this story even more unbelievable. Because think about it, this didn't leak at all. Not through fans. Not through dirt sheets. Not through people who were there. It stayed hidden for years. And the only reason it surfaced is because Sonya brought it up casually on a podcast. That alone is almost suspicious. Stories way less dramatic than this have blown up online in an instant. Someone sneezes backstage and it becomes a headline. Yet a full-on scrap between two future stars stayed buried. That's almost impossible to imagine. Part of what makes it so unbelievable is the personalities involved. Liv has never been portrayed as someone who gets into fights. If anything, the wrestling world sees her as someone who stays out of drama. She's emotional. She's passionate, she works hard, but she's not aggressive outside the ring. And Mandy, she's always carried herself with confidence and calmness, not someone easily pushed to the edge. Seeing these two personalities collide in such a raw moment makes fans wonder what could have possibly triggered it. Was there tension bubbling under the surface? Was someone jealous? Did someone say something that crossed a line? Or was it just the pressure of NXT in those days boiling over? Sonya hinted that developmental back then was intense. Everyone was young, hungry, competitive, trying to prove themselves. One wrong comment, one misunderstanding, one bad day. Anything could have lit the fuse. And maybe both women were simply overwhelmed. Maybe the drill forced them to tap into emotions they didn't expect, and it spiraled out of control. It wouldn't be the first time that training blurred the lines between character and reality. But the fact that they both immediately snapped with no gradual build-up makes it feel like something deeper was going on. Maybe they clashed before, maybe they didn't vibe backstage. Maybe this was the moment everything boiled over. Sonya didn't fill in that part of the story. And that missing piece makes it even more intriguing. Without answers, fans are left with theories, and every theory makes the story even more legendary.